Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. So some huge news tonight, events, changes, and a better gearing system. I can't tell you how exciting this is, so let's just get into it. Greetings adventurers. Eternum is a new, ever-evolving world, and as such we continue our efforts in providing our players with an assortment of ongoing new features, content, and changes. Similar to the activities leading up to our latest major update, we are approaching the release of our next large patch and would like to once again invite you all to participate in the next cycle of our PTR test realm. So it looks like they're going to be opening up the PTR servers again tomorrow, December 3rd at 10 a.m. And like last time, the servers are limited, so let's have a look at the stuff they are testing this time around. First, the Winter Convergence Festival. The holiday of the Winter Convergence has arrived in Eternum, marked by the appearance of increased snowfall and northern lights in the sky. This is a time of duality and dichotomy as the Yeti, the Winter Wanderer, comes to the land. While in the settlements, gifts are exchanged to mark the passing of the year. Outside the safety of the walls, there rages a wintry war between the positive forces of winter, slumber and perseverance, championed by the Winter Wanderer's positive side, and the negative forces of winter, death and stagnation, are championed by the Winter Wanderer, negative side. The player takes on the cause of the Winter Wanderer to collect winter tokens from repeatable events across the island, able to turn them in to a holiday shop containing rare and cosmetic items. The Winter Wanderer's positive aspect grows in power with each token collected and turned in. Icy winds and the Winter Wanderer bring with them new armors, weapons, furnishings, skins, consumables, and a delightful present gifting emote, all themed off the wonderful Eternum holiday of Winter Convergence. The Winter Wanderer has set up 4 villages to facilitate the joy and cheer of Winter Convergence. Visit these villages in Everfall, Monarch's Bluff, Weaver's Fen, and Brightwood to meet the Winter Wanderer and carry out his holiday quests. The activities that you'll be taking part in are the Convergent Spirit. Celebrate the spirit of the season by giving a helping hand in decorating your favorite settlement. The Convergent Spirit is a special town project that allows players to complete special town project quests to upgrade each settlement's tree of light for improved daily rewards. Lost Present Recovery. Those dastardly frigid folk are spreading their mischief and stealing presents across Eternum. Located throughout the world are lost presents to be recovered and turned in for winter tokens at the Winter Village's holiday huts. Gleamite Showers are a new random dynamic event that occurs at night throughout Eternum. Keep your eyes and ears open as you search for locations where the showers are most prevalent. Exchange the harvested crystals for winter tokens at the Winter Village holiday huts. Happy hunting. This winter event sounds pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of Raptor Claw's Winter Wonderland event in Ark Survival Evolved, if you guys have ever played that. Obviously with the creature types changed, but the random loot presents and the ice crystals to collect to exchange, much like the mistletoe in Ark. Anyway, it sounds pretty exciting and usually brings a lot of PvP along with it. It also looks like we will be getting ice caves that will act a lot like the portals do now, but with a winter theme. Ice caves are appearing all over Eternum due to the Winter Warrior's desire for a forever winter. They are snowy and icy caves that the Yeti use their powers to freeze up and make snowfall. The rest of Eternum will look like these ice caves if the onslaught of the warrior is not stopped. These caves will remain behind after the event as scars on the land, sources of the wintry magic that refuse to melt even if the warrior is defeated. In addition to the new quest series offered by the Winter Wanderer for the Convergence Festival, there are also several new side story territory quests offered in Relentless Shore and Morningdale. This update also introduces a new quest series associated with housing. After you've completed the main story quest, Encroaching Corruption, seek out architect Giacomo Altaviti, I totally butchered that name, near your starting settlement to begin the quest series. Further quests with this dude will be unlocked as you level up and progress your territory standing. So the watermark system is also getting somewhat of a rework. It seems they are first giving it a name change to the expertise system, and now we will have our current number on our character paper doll per slot so we can track our progress, which is nice. Also, they've added a new system, the gypsum system. Let's have a closer look. Based on feedback on the high watermark system and our desire to have a compelling and diverse endgame, we are making some major updates in our December 1.2 patch. Our goal for the endgame is to provide a variety of activities that all provide compelling rewards and interesting challenges. In this article, they will discuss 3 big changes they'll be making, so let's have a look at it. Since New World's launch, We heard the feedback from our community that the high watermark system was not communicated effectively, promotes a single monotonous activity, had too much randomness, and was a bit too grindy. So we are completely revamping the system to address these concerns. This new and improved high watermark system is called Expertise. In the December update, Expertise will govern the highest drops you can get per slot, much like high watermark did, but starting in early 2022, it will also govern the effectiveness of your gear. This means if your Warhammer Expertise is 520 and you equip a 550 gear score Warhammer, the weapon's effective gear score will be reduced to 520. While we understand to some players this may result in a temporary reduction in power, we believe in the long run this will result in more rewarding progression loop that can't be bypassed by buying gear off the trading post. A major improvement provided by Expertise is that a player's expertise per slot is displayed on the inventory screen, as well as the average expertise on all equipped gear. Additionally, each time a player gets an expertise bump, a level up banner will appear showing their new expertise level. Note that the expertise system unlocks at level 60, so this information will not be shown until then. The second major improvement we made is adding a way for players to control their gear progression. To achieve this, we introduced Gypsum. Gypsum is a new resource that is found by doing a variety of activities. Defeating level 60 creatures in the open world, defeating final bosses of the Lazarus Instrumentality in the Garden of Genesis, Outpost Rush caches, Trade Skill Aptitude Reward Containers, Arena caches, Breach caches, level 55 creatures but only after consuming a special attunement potion that can be crafted at a tier 5 camp. Gypsum can be crafted into gypsum orbs, which can then be turned into special caches called gypsum casks. Gypsum casks are gear type specific and when open guarantee an expertise bump for that type of gear, as well as an item of that type. We believe that providing different ways to collect gypsum will allow players to play a variety of content, while always finding at least a few activities they love to progress in their gear score. Engaging in these activities 60 minutes a day will earn players enough gypsum of that type to craft a gypsum orb. After players have earned sufficient gypsum for an orb, they won't earn more for 23 hours. Gypsum orbs can then be crafted into gypsum casks for any weapon, armor, or trinket type. Note, you can only craft any type of cask once per day. Opening a gypsum cask will guarantee an expertise bump and reward players with a random piece of gear of that type with gear score equal to the new expertise level. Okay guys, here's my concern with this. All of it sounds really good, and it's a great system. The only piece of it that I don't understand why they would do is lowering people's current gear. I don't really understand why they would lower people's gear and crush its stats to make it match their current expertise level. That basically is them saying that if you right now are the type of person who doesn't have time to run instances and hasn't pushed their watermark but invested hundreds of thousands of gold in crafted gear score 600 gear, effectively, after this patch, all of this gear is going to be gear score 520. And all of you people who have spent your time making Voidbend armor, leveling your skills in armoring and weaponsmithing and jewel crafting to make the best things you possibly could, that's all going to be gear score 520 gear after this happens. I don't understand what would have led them to believe that that was a good decision. Anyway, let's get on to the next thing. I'm starting to sound a little negative, and I'm not trying to be. And more changes to crafting, but this time, some of it I think is for the better. But again, parts of it confuse me, and I'll explain why after. We want to continue rewarding the efforts you make to craft items for yourself, your friends, or to make a buck on the trading post. So we've introduced Trade Skill Aptitude. Upon reaching level 200 in a trade skill, the leveling circle will update to show 3 markers, equal distance from each other, on a circle. Earning trade skill experience will begin progressing you again, and when you reach one of these markers, you will be awarded with a container of useful items that are mostly trade skill relevant, such as crafting mods, special ingredients, and even schematics and recipes. Each subsequent marker awards a more spectacular container with more rewards than the one before. Gaining enough experience to go all the way around the circle will increment the aptitude counter to 1. This counter will keep counting so you can keep track of how many times you've wrapped your progression around top level. We also have introduced a new type of reward with this system, equipment patterns. Equipment patterns are crafting artifacts that enable you to craft a guaranteed gear score 600 item that has a specific appearance. Patterns require a significant amount of powerful crafting resources to create, but guarantee a gear score 600 item. Okay, here's where I'm going to stop. The rest of it is just explaining that you can still control the perks and all of that stuff. And these are awarded. You can get patterns for arcana, for gauntlets and staffs. You can get patterns for weaponsmithing, armoring, and engineering. Okay, cool. Where I'm concerned is, patterns require a significant amount of powerful crafting resources to create. And knowing this game, that means that it's probably going to cost about 100,000 gold to make one, but guarantee a gear score 600 item. So was the team that was working on the crafting changes not in communication with the team that was working on the high watermark score changes? But first of all, they say that it guarantees a gear score 600 item, but the high watermark system changes to expertise say that you will no longer be able to purchase or craft items to artificially increase your expertise. So this very expensive thing that you can create that is guaranteed to be gear score 600 will crush to 520 unless, or whatever your current expertise is at, unless you have already equipped and gotten your expertise to 600 perfectly. Like even if it's 599, it's going to become a purple and it's going to be 599 the minute that you equip it. I'm really sorry guys if I'm sounding negative, I'm not trying to, but this is driving me nuts because you can't change one system to make it so that crafting gear gets stat squished and crushed to your current expertise level, then create another system that is supposed to incentivize crafting by giving you more ways to create maximum level gear that will be crushed when it's crafted. The only type of people who are willing to invest huge amounts of resources into crafting gear score 600 gear at this level are the type of people who farm and play trade skill characters who generally don't always run instances and stuff. I know there's people who do that craft it. I'm not saying everyone, but I mean generally. The type of people who purchase gear off of the trading post, the type of people who invest hundreds of thousands of gold to craft a piece of gear, don't have the ability to go get that piece of gear for that slot from an instance, or else why would they invest 100,000 gold in it? So now it's not. Anyway, okay, let's move on. I don't want to get irritated and I don't want to come across as negative because I'm not trying to be. It's just some of these things, it's like two different patch notes from two different games, if you know what I mean. Anyway, they've introduced some PvP balance changes. Due to an issue in our initial PvP damage formula that caused lower gear to be more beneficial in damage mitigation, we have updated our formula. We look forward to hearing your feedback on this update. PvP damage formula update. We adjusted the way armor mitigation is calculated to use enemy's gear score value instead of your average gear score. To adjust for the difference in armor mitigation, we increased the damage low-level players do to higher-level players and reduced the damage that higher-level players do to lower-level players. Crit damage application. Critical damage bonuses from masteries or perks are now applied additively instead of multiplicatively. On average, this will reduce the extra damage they provide by a small percentage. Buffer windows, a general consistency pass, has been done across all weapons to adjust the buffering windows for dodges, abilities, and basic attacks. The updated buffer windows starts when the first frame of the attack that would deal damage or on the first casting frame in the case of abilities that do not deal damage. Okay guys, I'm really sorry if I came across as negative while reading that. It wasn't my intention. I just get really frustrated sometimes when games kill crafting. It's my favorite thing to do. And it just feels like that's what's happening. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it'll feel different when it's live, but I'm definitely going to be on the PTR to test this stuff. So guys, the main thing that I can advise you to do is be sure this time to get on the PTR. If you are currently on a dead server or board, definitely get on the PTR. This is the best thing you can do for the game. Get on there and try to break things. Spend all day trying to break things, and then report the things you break. And report them over and over. Be persistent. Let's this time get things stopped before this thing goes live, so that when it does get released, it'll be as good as it possibly can be. Anyways, guys, what do you think? Will you be on the PTR pushing for the fixes before live? Are you excited for this one? Let me know in the comments. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. And if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you so much. And I'll see you in the next one.